first question to ask to each one of us why we are here. What do you expect from this workshop? This is the only interactive question which is there for everyone of you to answer. After that, I will mute everyone so that you can just answer through the chat box. Okay, so feel free to answer this question. Let me know why everybody is here. What do you expect from this workshop? Yes, quickly. We don't have a lot of time, so be quick to answer the questions. Why you are here? Why do you want to know about the gut? What is it about the gut which makes it so interesting? Optimal nutrition, right? If you don't want to speak, you can write, type. It's faster. Core of health. To understand the core of health. What else? Improve digestion. Faster. See, this workshop has to be very active. We want to treat our Agni. If you want to treat our Agni, you have to have a strong vision. You have to have a strong focus and you have to be very clear. You have to be clear what you want to achieve through this workshop. You want to get a good digestion, or there's few answers which are there. I will quickly read. Longer life. Every disease starts from the gut, hence it's very important. Want to understand more about Agni and more in detail to set my stomach right. Okay. How many of you have stomach issues? Do you have stomach issues? Say yes if you are having issues. Say no if you don't have. Yes, I think everybody has. There are more than 50% of the population has digestive issues. Do you know why? Because it's so complex, because we eat 3 times a day, sometimes 5 times a day. The chances of it getting disturbed is much more higher. And that is why we suffer from so many different issues. But we are lucky. Do you know why? Because Ayurveda gives a lot of importance to gut. It gives a lot of importance to Agni. And that is why there are so many medicines in Ayurveda to treat these problems. Ayurveda goes to the root of problems. And it says that digestive system is the root. So that is why it is very important to understand that your digestive system needs to be taken care of. Who has a good relationship with you? The next question you can type. You must be having good relationship with somebody. Who are the people who you have good relationship with? The people who you bond together, you communicate well together, right? You spend time well together. These are the factors which are necessary for good relationship building. Digestive system is similar. If you give time, awareness, then you can build a strong, healthy relationship with your digestive system. The problem is that we don't give time. The problem is that we don't pay attention. We don't understand our gut behavior. And that is the reason why we suffer most of the times. So in today's session, what I'm going to bring to you is an understanding of 3 important terms in Ayurveda. And we are going to understand this terminologies to build up the process which we are going to have in the next 5 days. We have also sent you an email of your shopping list which you have to do. Okay, we will discuss about the shopping list in the end of the session so that you can have that tomorrow. You are ready for it. From the day after tomorrow, we are going to do that detox. Right? So you have to be prepared for that. I want each and every participant to be actively participating in whatever is being shared. There are 2 things: listening to the information and applying the information. We have listened a lot. Now we want to apply. Right? Is it true? If you agree, say yes in the chat box. Yes. So it is the time to apply. So whatever been shared, you have to apply That is why the workbook has been shared with you, so that you can monitor your progress as you are going through the workshop, right? If anybody has any questions during the workshop, you will be writing down in the chat box. In the last 5 to 10 minutes, we will be taking all the questions which are there, right? So we're starting with the slides. Can everybody see the slide? Right? Okay. So we are starting with the gut health, and we are also going to do a gut reset. What is gut? And why is it so important? You must have heard, everybody's talking about gut right now, and that is why I'm doing a workshop also on it, because it has become so important. Through my experience, 70 to 80% of the patients which I am handling are having bloating, constipation, acidity, burping, flatulence, this kind, or stomach pain. This kind of symptoms are so much prominent that it is very difficult to just treat the patient through a consultation. Right information is needed for people to be followed and practice. Right? That is why this workshop has been presented, so that the right information is spread out and you can apply it into your daily routine. The question which I asked was why. You have already answered. Why? Because it is very, very important. Why? Because it is important, because it will design your lifestyle. It will design your life. It will design your immunity. It is going to design your moods. It is going to affect your emotions. It is going to affect everything. So that is why it is very important to understand the gut. And to understand the gut, there are these three terms which are very, very important, which we are going to talk about today: Agni, Arma, and Kosta. How many of you know about these terms? If you know, yes. If you know about these terms, write yes in the chat box. So I'll know how much people know about it already. How many of you have heard about Agni, Arma, Kosta? Kosta, no. Okay. Yes, Himanshi knows something about it. So what is Agni? What is Arma? What is Kosta? Starting from So before we start and get into Agni, Ama, and Kosta, we are going to talk about what this body is made up of. It's a very important aspect to understand the overall health of a person. Right? Creation. Our human body is created by the 5 elements which are present. These 5 elements form the basis of the universe and the basis of our body. These 5 elements are Prithvi, Jala or Aap, Teja or Agni, Vayu or Akash. These are the 5 elements which creates our human body. Why we are bringing these 5 elements to you now? Because these 5 elements I'm going to talk in the coming lectures as well. We want to introduce these 5 elements into our lifestyle, because somewhere they are missing. These 5 elements are missing from our daily routine. And that is why it is important to bring it back. Bringing these 5 elements back into your routine is going to improve your health. It is going to improve your gut. It is going to improve your Agni. Right? Along with that, this element, along with the life element, which is Atma, take part in formation of our physical body. That is how the physical body is prepared or formed. These 5 elements: earth, water, fire, wind, and space, and your soul, Atman, together forms the 5 elements which are there. Right? Talking about Agni. If you see this picture, I've purposely put this picture, selected this picture. What you can see: 2 hands holding the fire in between. It's a very powerful picture which addresses a very important factor, in our life. It is about taking care of our Agni. You have to take care of your Jatharagni or your digestive fire. How many of you take care of your Agni? Say yes if you do in the chat box. How many of you seriously take or consider taking care of your Agni? Be true to yourself. I try. Everybody's saying try. Why you can't say yes here? What are your limitations? Everybody's saying trying. What are the limitations? Is it so difficult? What is the difficult part? What is the challenge for you? Right now, everybody write down the challenge. Please write down the challenges which you are facing to have a good relationship with the Agni. Think about the challenges which you are facing. Being consistent is very, very important. We don't know how to take care of it. Lack of knowledge. Okay. What else? What about others? There are 15, 16 people in the group. Everybody should write. Everybody should participate. This is the first step. Understanding, asking questions to yourself. Why? Why I'm not doing certain things? Consistency gets affected because of work, travel. Yes. Okay. Important. It affects a lot. Traveling affects our gut a lot. What else? Daily stress. Stress is an important factor. Lack of knowledge, routine. Okay. What about others? All right. So understanding the gut becomes very, very important. And starting of the gut comes from Agni. You must have heard this term a lot. It is very common nowadays and people are using it a lot. You must have heard in yoga. You must have heard Agni in daily Sanskrit language, in Hindi language. It's a very common term. In Ayurveda, we use Agni very strongly. And it is a very powerful term which defines everything. Acharya Charaka, who is the main, one of the main physicians of Ayurveda, says that if you can take care of your Agni, you learn to live your life healthily and peacefully. If you're not taking care of your Agni and your Agni is suppressing and getting reduced over a period of time, you're reducing your health. And once the Agni finishes from your body, you will die. The fire in your belly is your everything. That is why you have to hold it with both your hands. You have to take care, nourish it, protect it from everything. Okay, it is your fuel. It is your food is not your fuel. Don't think. There is a lot of diet is given so much importance, but Agni is not given any importance. We go give so much importance to what you have to eat right, how much you have to eat, how much proteins you have to take, when you have to eat. There are so many things which are there, but nobody understands or sees how their Agni is behaving. The word Agni here denotes the Jatharagni because there are three kinds of Agnis. Jatharagni, then Bhutagni, and Agni. We are not going into that aspects now because that will be limited time. We are talking about Jatharagni. So Jathar is the fire in the belly. Stomach, small intestine. This is what we are talking about here. Okay, understood, clear everyone? Right? So remember the word Jathar Agni. The Jathar word comes from gutter. The English word gutter is taken from Jathar. Gutter means a passage through which a canal or passage through which things flows. So your stomach is also like a gutter. Your food flows through it. That is why it is called as the Jatharagni. Just for people who have not seen or just to introduce you to the Elementary Canal, this is a very long canal. The food goes through a lot of covers a lot of distance. Do you know how much time does it take from the mouth to the anus? for the food to travel from the mouth, a banana which you ate or rice which you ate to travel throughout the system, how much time it takes? I will give you an average. Do you know how much time does it take from, just a minute. Okay, how much time does it take from your mouth to the stomach? Any idea? Yes, answer in the chat box. How much time does it take for your food to reach from the mouth to the stomach? Thinking, everybody's thinking, okay, I will tell you, 5 to 10 seconds. From the mouth to the stomach, for the food to reach the stomach, it takes 5 to 10 seconds. How much time does it take in your stomach? Any idea? 4 hours in your stomach? What, any other of others? What do you think? How much time does it take? This answer I want from each one of you. There is an exercise which I've given in the workbook, which will help me to understand. To tell us how much time taking for your food to be digested in the stomach. 2 hours, 3 hours approximately. Average is 2 to 6 hours. The food can remain into your stomach from 2 to 6 hours. Ideally, its average is 3 hours. Okay. Now, after your stomach, where does the food go? Where does the food go?
Intestine.
Into the intestine, small intestine, right? So the food goes into your small intestine. How much time does it remain in your small intestine? How much time does it take into your small intestine? Around 5 to 6 hours. Food remains into your small intestine for 5 to 6 hours. After that, it moves into your large intestine. In the large intestine, it is approximately staying from 12 to 24 hours. Ideally, the gut should be evacuated every 24 hours. Highlight this. You should go to the toilet every 24 hours. You should do bowel evacuation every 24 hours. No matter what people say, this is the only right way to understand if you are healthy or not. You should go to the toilet every 24 hours. Okay. And after that, it is evacuated. When you are unhealthy, when you have a lot of problems related to constipation and many more such things, then the food will stay into your stomach longer. When it stays into your stomach longer, it will start creating a lot of issues. This diagram, this picture which is coming in front of you it is a very nice representation of how the food moves through the system, through the alimentary canal. Right from when the food enters into your mouth, it passes through the esophagus. What happens in your stomach? Digestion, storage and digestion. The process of digestion will happen here. What happens into your small intestine? Liver sends some acids, gallbladders assist, pancreas assists. All these three organs are assisting, and then the food gets absorbed and assimilated. What is absorption? Absorption is being able to take in. Assimilation is being able to convert and utilize. Both are equally important. Imagine you are taking 110 grams of protein because your dietitian has told you to, but it is not getting absorbed. It is of no use to you. Why? Because the absorption is not there. If the absorption is not there, what is the use of eating that food? Right? Who helps you to absorb? Where is the Agni? The Agni is around this area. Sorry. So Agni is around this area in your stomach and your small intestine around this area. This is where the Agni acts. Your Agni is active here. Jatharagni is active here. This part of the system is doing its responsibility, doing its job well. Then the other parts will take care of itself. Is everybody able to follow what we are discussing? Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody is active. Present with me. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so digestive system, and so it's from the food moves to the small intestine. Then that is where it reaches your large intestine. Now you tell me, when you heard the word gut, what came into your mind? Write down in the chat box. When you hear the word gut, what comes to your mind? Stomach. What else? Stomach. Okay.
Intestine.
Intestine. Stomach and digestion. Okay. Digestion. Gut is all the gutter which is there from your stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Okay. This is where the action is happening. Primarily, the gut is the large intestine, which is very much talked about. But small intestine is equally important here. When you are resetting your gut, we are working with your stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. If any of these three is not functioning properly, it is a problem. Your large intestine is proper, but your stomach is not digesting, breaking down the food, it will become a complicating. It will complicate the small intestine, then it will complicate the large intestine. The stomach is fine, the small intestine is not working. Similar. So all the three are equally important to work with each other. All right. Again, I've just showed you a diagram of stomach. This is just for orientation. This will help you to understand how things work in your in your body. If you see here, your stomach is like having a dome. Remember this dome. This dome is related to your acidity, right? There is a valve here. The weakness of this valve affects your peptic ulcer or GERD. What is GERD? Gastroesophageal reflux disorder. You must have heard this term. If somebody is suffering from this condition. GERD is gastroesophageal reflux disorder. Gastro means stomach. Gastro is the term given to the stomach. Esophagus is this organ here. The food pipe. Reflux is going back. Disorder is a problem. So what happens is, from the gastric juices goes back to your esophagus because this valve is weak. Understood, everyone? So it causes a problem. Just this small thing creates a problem. What is acid? Acid is which element? Write down in the chat box, please. What element would acid be? Fire, air, water, earth. Yes. What element? Write down. Why everybody's. I need active. Okay, if people are writing fire, acid. Okay, pitta, fire, water. So your Agni or your acid is fire element, and fire element always tends to go up. Okay, fire element has a tendency to go up. That is why the acidity gets accumulated around this area in the dome, and that is why it creates a lot of pressure on the heart. That is why symptoms related to acidity are often correlated to heart attacks or MI. Okay, so that is the relationship. Now this stomach is like a balloon. It's a problem because it is a balloon, so you can eat a lot and it will create a problem. That is why people have so much habit of overeating, and the stomach can take in as much as it can because it is like an distended organ. It can distend itself. It's a J-shaped organ which can become like a balloon. And there lies the problem. Overeating is a problem. Okay. Understand that it is a J-shaped organ and it should be having its form. The space element should be maintained of the stomach. If you are not respecting the space element, the space element gets imbalance and creates problems. All the diseases which are occurring in us are because of the imbalances of the 5 elements. And it is related. Acidity is the fire element, bloating is the air element, weak digestion or over secretion is the water element. So likewise. Do you know what is this? Please write down in the chat box if you know what this is. Everybody can see a nice image in front of you. What it is? Can you see or not? It's a nice design. Fiber. Yes, similar to fiber. I have zoomed into your intestine. It just the difference is that this is your intestine when you are a kid. Now your intestine does not look like this. It is accumulating a lot of things. It is a very clean gut. And this structure which you are seeing are finger-like projections which are called as villi. I'm writing down in the chat. It's called as villi. So villi are like hair-like projections. There are so many villi. You can see the next picture which I'm showing to you. Your intestine looks something like this. Thousands and millions and trillions of villi are present in your gut. You know why it is presented there? To increase the surface area of your gut, so that no matter what you eat, gets properly absorbed. This villi are finger-like projections, and there are blood circulations which are coming in between. So the nutrients gets absorbed through this villi. And because it is hair-like projection, chances of lot of things getting clogged in it is also very prominent. Our intestines becomes like a kitchen sewage pipeline, which gets clogged over a period of time. That is why cleansing is a very important aspect. Gut reset is a very, very important aspect. And it is given a lot of importance in Ayurveda. Okay, so this structure, everybody understood it is villi. It's called as the villi. Coming back to Agni, as I told you already that it is the fire which governs the primary process of digestion. Before the food is covered into any form, absorption, assimilation, and utilization is very, very important. Agni and other types of Agni are also dependent on your Jatharagni. Now I'll tell you how it is related. Your Jatharagni, I told you, is your Agni which is present in your stomach. Is it the only Agni which is present in your body? No. What does the Jatharagni do? Jatharagni in your body is helping you to process the food, break down the food. What happens after the food goes into your small intestine? It gets absorbed. Absorption is happening also due to a Agni. If you bring some vegetables, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, and you want to have it, what do? You just have it raw? No. You cook it. Does it transform itself naturally? No. It needs Agni, fire element. If somebody decays, some food decays, also it requires fire element. You know, in summer season, food decays faster. Chances of food poisoning are more in summer than in other seasons. Why? Because the bacterial effect happens and the food decays faster because of the fire, because of the Agni element. For transformation to happen, Agni is required. Food in your stomach is done by the Jatharagni, and the food, there is also cellular Agni. In your cells, there is also an Agni, which is transforming things, which is processing things, so that the cell gets its nutrients. What this pointing is telling us is that how your Jatharagni is, so is your metabolic cellular Agni. The cellular Agni is dependent on the Jatharagni. If the fire gets increases or depleted, the metabolism gets disturbed. This in turn gives rise to a chain of pathological events which will cause systemic issues. Right? If the Jatharagni gets vitiated, it disturbs all the other Agnis in the body. This results in lower immunity and formation of Arma. This is where the concept of Arma comes in. How many of you have heard this term Arma before? Have heard or taken care of Arma? What is Arma? Write down in the chat box if you have any clue about what is Arma. Toxins. Toxins. What else? Okay, toxins. So Arma, toxicity. Arma is a concept which is very native to Ayurveda, and it talks about the suboptimal food digestion. Our food, when does not get digested properly, creates a substance which the body does not identify. That creates Arma in our body. Okay, so the term is Arma. It is unprocessed. You can call it unprocessed, raw, uncooked, undigested. Okay, this is what is Arma. This is what is called. These are the synonyms of Arma. Okay. So how does Arma get created? In our body, Arma gets created when you have unhealthy food habits. You have poor Agni. These are the two combining factors which creates Arma. Some of the causes are having detrimental lifestyle. What is detrimental lifestyle? High stress, excessive workout, lack of workout, excessive sleeping, lack of sleeping, right? High stress, not able to give any attention to the body, excessively eating sweet, sour, salty things, having a lot of heavy things into your diet, heavy, oily, fried things, regularly having these things into your routine affects your digestion. What are unhealthy foods and what are healthy foods? This bifurcation is very, very important to understand. Healthy foods are those foods which our Agni can process, Agni understands. That is why we call it healthy, right? Unhealthy food are all those foods which our body fails to identify, fails to understand. And that is why we don't consider it optimal to be put into your gut, into your stomach, because it takes longer time or it gets digested incorrectly, inappropriately, and due to which it creates a lot of problems in our body. It either decays, or it creates toxins, or it creates pain, it creates discomfort, it creates different gases. All this is done by this kind of food. That is why we consider this food to be not good for our system. But is it related directly to the taste? No. Taste and healthy food is not related. A food can be tasty, but may not be healthy always. This you know already, right? All the tasty categories which you like might not be healthy always, right? So there is a vast difference which you have to understand. What is healthy and what is optimal with the taste also. And in Ayurveda, there is another factor which talks about your dosha. So your dosha also plays a very important role in what kind of food is good for you, what kind of food is not good for you. So this is a general highlight. I'm not going to focus a lot on about Arma today. Arma, I'm going to break it down and bring it to in a different way. What we are going to do is we are going to talk about more in detail about Kosta. Okay. The third topic of discussion which we have today is Kosta, which is a very interesting topic in Ayurveda. Something which has been researched a lot in Ayurveda and which you'll find a lot of relevance. Can everybody see the slide? Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. So everybody has this slide in front of you. Coaster. The word coaster literally means an hollow structure. Everything which is hollow in our body is called as coaster. Here we are referring to coaster as your gut. Understanding what is, if you want to take something out from this workshop, you have to identify how your coaster is, what your coaster is. This would be the highlight which I will like to have through this first session and the coming sessions which you are having. If you learn to identify what kind of coaster you are having and what kind of Agni you are having, major part of the problem is solved. You will know what kind of foods to eat, what kind of foods to avoid, when to eat what not to eat. How much to give to your stomach, how much to not give, when to give, how much to give, what not to give. Okay, that is what the Costa talks about in detail. The physiology is defined through the bowel movements and it is related to your body constitution. The Costa refers to and is affecting by the different body constitutions which are having, and the Agni. So these three words are related: Agni, Costa, and your dosha. Okay, so that relationship we are going to have now. So pay attention, everyone. This is a very, very important takeaway from this workshop. So try to be focused now and try to understand this. This concept which you would not have heard somewhere or understood from somewhere. This will not understand. You will not find it on Google. This is a very pure Ayurvedic concept. Okay, so Krura Kosta. The Krura Kosta, the relevance which you are talking about here is Agni, active around the Amasya and partial digestion, which we are talking about. Okay, we are talking about what affects Krura Kosta. It is also associated to your small intestine and duodenum. Okay, so Vishama Agni is associated to Krura Kosta. Write down in your notes. Write down very clearly and highlight it. Krura Kosta and Vishama Agni are related most of the times. 75 to 80% of the time, Krura Kosta and Agni are related. You might have Visham Agni and Krura Koshta. So now I'll explain you what is Visham Agni. Visham Agni is, the word Vishama means irregular. Vishama Agni is irregular Agni. You can see this in this PDF. Oh, sorry, in the PowerPoint, I have given you some graphs. You see what is the pattern here? Irregular. The patterns are uneven, rough, dry, uneven. This is what you can see through this workshop, through this patterns. This is how your Agni is literally. Have you identified or noticed this kind of patterns with your Agni? If you have understood this patterns for the next 5 days, what you have to do is you have to observe. Observe your Agni. In the last part of today's session, I am going to discuss with you the workbook which you have to follow, and you will understand how to do it, when to write, notice what, and that is what we will be sharing and identifying. Okay. So Visham Agni is something which is related to Vata dosha. So it's commonly seen in people who have Vata dosha or Vata aggravation. If you have a Vata aggravation, or you have Vata dosha Prakriti. Prakriti is your body type, which you get naturally from your birth. Imbalance is something which you have acquired. Two different things. People who do not have any understanding about Prakriti and Vikruti, there will be some other workshop and you will understand it in that workshop. But now you just understand in a simple terms that Vata dosha constitution is your nature. This is how your nature, body type is built. Vata imbalance is your Vikruti, which is the imbalance which you have created through your lifestyle. Okay. So in both the cases, we can get Visham Agni, which is irregular fire. Well, how is it? If you're cooking and if your gas goes up and comes down, what will happen? The food will not get cooked. Similar happens with the stomach. In your Agni, the Agni is very irregular. So sometimes it digests, sometimes it does not digest. And due to which what happens? The food does not get digested properly and it leads to Krura Koshta. Now, what is Krura Koshta? Krura Koshta is less secretion in your gut. The gut secretes less. If you want to understand, we'll go little bit back to see the diagram of the gut. See, if you see this villi, these villi are not dry. They're constantly been secreted. Why is your mouth not dry? Why there is saliva in your mouth? This question to everyone. It's a very logical question which you can think and answer. Yes? What do you think? Please answer. Be fast, people. Today is the first day. I need a lot of active participation. Lubrication creates moisture to maintain the pH. Yes, swallowing. What else? Creating moisture, lubrication is the right word. So the water element which is present into your whole alimentary canal is present because the lubrication or proper smoothness is, or the lining of the mucosal lining protects the organs, right? So that is why there is a secretion. Your mouth, if it does not have a mucosal lining, whatever you eat, there is a lot of wear and tear which happens. You eat 5 times a day, 10 times a day. Every time you eat, if your mouth is dry, there is, imagine so much erosion which is happening at the mouth level itself. So it is a problem. That is why our stomach, our body releases saliva so that it lubricates. Same happens into your stomach and gut. There are a lot of secretions which are happening so that the food can easily pass through. Now, what we are talking about here with related to Krura Koshta is that the Krura Koshta is very dry naturally. So if your intestine is dry, would the food particles be able to move easily? Right? So absorption is more, secretion is less. Write down this term. Absorption is more, secretion is less. So the intestine takes in lot of water content. It does not put in water, it takes out water. Understanding? That is why the intestine is dry. These are some of the checklists for you to have for Krura Coaster. Krura Coaster checklist is difficult in passing the stools. Unpredictable nature. Sometimes good, sometimes hard and difficult. So it's changing, fluctuating. Visham Agni. Visham Agni, appetite is irregular. Hard stool with or without constipation. You might have hard stool always. You might be constipated, you might not be constipated, but you're having a hard stool. You spend a lot of time in your toilet loo because you have to use a lot of force, a lot of energy through the peristalsis for the stool to pass on. Bowel movement will be seen once a day at not specific timings. Because there is no proper secretion, the timings is not regular. Okay. Bowel movements might be absent for a few days as well. The bowel movements always require some or the other stimulants. It might be you drinking a glass of hot water, it might be coffee, it might be some powder, it might be some or the other thing which you're constantly having. Stools will be dry, palate-like, devoid of smoothness, oiliness, stickiness, and moisture. Okay. Occasionally, the stool passes with and will be associated with abdominal pain, straining, passage of blood also comes through. Because if you have a chronicity to this, there is some amount of blood also which is coming, and is distension of abdomen. What happens? The body is trying very hard for the stool to get past. What happens in that process? The walls of your stomach becomes weak. If the walls of the stomach become weak, it distends. And that is how the air comes in. It loses its form. The space elements gets disturbed because of the air element. And that is the problem. So go through this checklist and identify if you have these symptoms in you. The problems which you might have is constipation, bloating, burping, sciatica, all these problems which you might have due to these issues. Okay, so it's very, very important that you identify first if you fall under this category or not. We are going to help you with identifying if you fall in this category or not. Okay, that is why the workbook has been made. Cool, everyone? Understood? Say yes if you are able to follow until now. Say yes in the chat box if you are able to follow until now. Good. Good. What about others? Just 6 yes. What about the others? Listening? Following? Good. Okay. I'll keep on asking you to write down so I know that you're awake and you're here. See, all the workshops are challenging at the end part of the way, or after 2-3 days, people feel okay. I know already. No, you'll be missing on a lot if you're not following throughout. What we are, the small details which comes into this workshop is going to help you to solve your major problems. The principles are very simple. You just have to follow. There is a question. How is Krura Coaster related to sciatica pain? Okay, so we'll take this question in later part. Okay, in the coming days. But it is related. Krura Coaster is related directly or indirectly to the sciatica pain. It is not always that if you have Krura Coaster, you might develop sciatica pain. But if you have Krura Coaster, you might have a Visham Agni, which is irregular fire. If you have Visham Agni, you might have bloating. Okay, so there is a lot of strain which comes on your stomach. So the stomach pulls your belly forward. See, people who are always constantly bloated, how is your belly? It's like a pregnant woman. It is pulled forward. There's an anterior tilt to your pelvis. And due to which, what happens? There is an arching which is coming on the back. The L4, L5, there is nerve compression, and due to which the sciatica can develop. Okay, so this is the relationship which we are talking about here. So it is not always that Crurocosta might be related to sciatica, but there are chances with that it might develop if you are a Vata body type. Okay. Mrudu Agni, Mrudu Koshta, second type. Now Mrudu Koshta is associated to Tikshna Agni, which is associated to Pitta. Write down Tikshna Agni, Pitta, and Mrudu Koshta. Feed this into your brains. Sleep with it today. Okay. What you have to write, what diagram you have to prepare? Visham Agni, Vata Dosha, poor secretion, over absorption, and Crurocosta. Okay. Again, I will repeat. Visham Agni, Vata Dosha, poor secretion, over absorption, and Crurocosta. The second is Tikshna Agni, Pitta Dosha, over secretion, poor absorption, and Mrudu Koshta. Okay. Everybody here following? Okay. So the Mrudu Koshta is also, Mrudu means soft. Mrudu means soft. Okay, before we start with Mrudu Koshta, from our discussion, how many of you feel that you have Crurocosta? Say yes. Say yes if you feel that you are following in the Crurocosta category. How many of you are Crurocosta here? Okay, 2. Sometimes. Okay. What about others? What are the other 13, 11 people not in this category? Sometimes. What are the others? Come on. Sometimes. Have some points. Okay. All right. Okay. So going into the Tikshna Agni and Mrudu Koshta. So Tikshna Agni, here we are talking about. Tikshna means what? Sharp. What is the meaning of the word Tikshna? Tikshna is sharp. Sharp is that which is overly stimulating Agni. Overstimulating, where you cannot skip meals. You are feeling you have so strong Agni that you have to have a good proportion of meal on a regular basis. This is very much commonly seen with Pitta people, right? Where they are hungry and angry, right? You skip meals, they get very irritated, frustrated. They find it very challenging to even skip one meal. So this is Tikshna Agni. Whatever they eat, they can digest. They have a tendency to overeat also. This is a tendency of Tikshna Agni, very strong fire. Okay. Pitta and Agni are same elements. Okay. Pitta is also a fire element. And this is a common rule that Pitta might have Tikshna Agni. It's very common. Pitta people always have Tikshna Agni most of the times. So Prakruti wise, that they naturally get Tikshna Agni, right? And Vikruti wise also, some people can develop Tikshna Agni because they eat a lot of spicy food, overly oily food, and many factors are there. The food gets digested very quickly, and this influences the Koshta. The bowel movements of Koshta of this people is Mrudu Koshta, soft. What we talked about Mrudu Koshta, it is a soft gut. The secretions are more, absorption is less. How? If there is too much water which is released into intestine, will the absorption will slow down? Yes. What happens in diarrhea? Why the water is coming out so much? Because there is lack of absorption and over secretion for removing of the bacteria. Most of the people who have Mrudu Koshta go to the toilet 2 or 3 times a day. And they have a very soft gut. Right? Clear? Understood? So it's very important that you manage and identify the situation. Why? Because you eat certain kind of food. If you have Mrudu Koshta, you're constantly going to the toilet, your gut bacteria is not being created. If your gut bacteria is not created, your immune system is affected and your other systems are affected. So what we have to do, we have to understand and apply. We will change our diet. We will use some medicines which will help for proper absorption, right? Suppose you have suppose you on your table, there is water which is spilled. What do? You take a sponge and you put it on the water, right? Would you take a stone? Why? Or would you put more water in it? You'll not put more water in. Why? Because the secretion, already there is water, you put more water, it will increase. Why do you put a sponge? Because the sponge absorbs. So the food or the medicines which will help to reduce the secretions will help in this case. Right? The food is digested quickly, the frequency of bowel clearance is more, loose or unformed stools are present. Okay, the stool tends to be watery most of the times. Understood? Now, this is a checklist for Mrudu Koshta. What are the checklists? If your stool passes smoothly and easily, you drink milk, you have banana, you go to the toilet. Associated with intense and severe digestive patterns, Agni and appetite. So you have a very strong appetite and it is very intense. Stool are soft and smooth in consistency with or without loose stools. You might have loose stools or not have loose stools. It's fine. But you have smooth stools. And it might not be compact. It is not well formed completely always. There is a quick evacuation. You go to the toilet immediately. The people who go to the toilet after meals might fall under this category. You eat and you must have met a lot of people who eat and go to the toilet. No motivation or like coffee, hot water is needed for this kind of people. Stool are smooth, watery, sometimes unformed and hurried. The passage of stool, sometimes burning sensation also there because of pitta. Okay, so this is the Mrudu Koshta, Agni, Pitta Dosha. These 3 words. Right? Understood everybody? Clear? Okay. So we'll stop the today's session here. What we are going to discuss now, you already would have received the workbook, right? What I want you to do is you have to take a print and bring it in a physical form. All of you should have the workbook tomorrow in a printed form in front of you. Okay, it's very, very important. Whatever I am sharing with you is very, very important. You might feel that this I might not do. If you want through this workshop you want to improve, do what I'm saying. Because we have created this workshop through our understanding of taking many Ayurveda courses and treating people. So I exactly know what is needed from you. So that is what I'm trying to share and I'm going to tell you. Okay, so writing down is very, very important. Identifying and analyzing is very, very important. Okay, so that is why we have to bring whatever is happening in your stomach in on papers. Okay, so I'll just share with you the workbook now. Just a minute. right? So write down your name in this workbook. All right. Hi, so I was trying to just bring the workbook on the screen, but I'm somehow failing to do it. I will request everybody to open the workbook and keep it in front of you. So I'll just talk about few important things related to the workbook. On the first page, write down your name. Okay. There are some important guidelines. Be prepared. So physical copy of this workbook should be very important because we'll be utilizing this throughout the gut health program. Today or tomorrow, go and buy 120 ml of castor oil. I will tell you how to utilize it. And if you can buy a pack of Triphala, it will be very, very important. So these two things you have to do immediate on an immediate basis. You can get Triphala anywhere in Ayurvedic stores. You can also get Triphala, buy it in a powder form. Okay. Powder form. It's very easily available. It is a very common herb. You must have heard about it. N number of times. Triphala Churna.
Yeah.
Okay. So Triphala Churna and castor oil. So you have to have edible castor oil. This also you can get easily in any Ayurvedic store, or you can also get it in a normal chemist shop. Okay. Because we are going tomorrow, I'll explain you what we have to do and how we are going to do it. Every day in the group, all your practical aspects should be shared so that we support each other and everybody does this together. That is what is expected. Why we have all the people, we have created this community because we help each other. Somebody does it and the other gets motivated through it, and that helps each and every. So it passes on from one person to another. Okay, it's a very important way of doing it. I will explain you what is the benefit of it, why you should do it, how it is going to help you. All right. So in the second page, you see that why, and what are you facing? There is a box. Write down why you're doing this workshop. Why it to you? What triggered you? And what made you to sign, register? If there is a problem, we have to first know and accept that there is a problem. It's very, very important that you write it down and work towards solving it. If it is there in front of you, every time you open your workbook, you are reminding yourself that you want to get it treated. Okay, that is a very important point which you have to follow. The third is now self-analysis page. You're coming to the self-analysis page. What we have to write down here is the 6 days. You have to write down how the consistency. So we have given you an example. In front of you, there is an example. Okay, consistency, we have written soft. Then smell, you have to write down smell or no smell. If you don't have, if your stool does not have smell, write no smell. If your stool has smell, write smell. Color, there are few categories which you have given: dark brown, yellowish brown, black. Okay, if there is any other color which you are getting, you can also write it down. Frequency, once a day, twice a day, more than 2 times a day, write it down. You don't have to write like if it is more than 2, you write down more than 2. Okay, every day from tomorrow you have to start to follow this, right? The second is digestion analysis. So I want to know and I have to understand how your digestion is behaving. Rather than me knowing how my digestion is working, I want you to know how it is working. And that is why you have to fill this up, right? What we want through this is experiencing heaviness. So you have to write down the timing of what time you have had the food. Okay, in this, around the day 1, you write down the time. Suppose you had lunch at 1 o'clock. So you write down 1 o'clock. Okay, experiencing heaviness. Now you have to write down until what time I felt heavy. So you suppose you ate at 1 o'clock and you felt heavy until 3 o'clock. So you write down until 3 p.m. Okay. Then feeling that the food has started digestion. Now, do you understand if the food is getting digested in your stomach? Yes, you do. You know that the food is now being processed. There is some heat, some kind of fire which you feel in your belly. If you observe very carefully, yes, you will get it. So write down this time when it starts and when you're feeling it. And then write down when you felt light. Calculate this time when you finished your food until you felt light. You calculate this time. And you write down there how many hours it took. It might take 4 hours. It might take 5 hours. It might take 6 hours. You write it down. Right? In parameters I have given you in below. So 0 to 2 hours is healthy. 2 to 4 hours is moderate. 4 to 6 hours is unhealthy. If it is unhealthy, if you're falling in unhealthy category, we have to take the step right now. Even if you're healthy, still you can work to keep it balanced. Okay, understood? Any questions? You let me write it down in the chat box. We'll take it later on after I finish. Then after that, there is Agni parameters. There is Jatharagni, Dhatu Agni, and Bhutagni. I've given you some text about Visham Agni, Tikshna Agni, Manda Agni, and Sama Agni. Sama Agni is the balanced Agni. Sama is balance. Agni is the fire. So that is what we have to create. Now there is a checklist again. So whatever symptoms which you are getting, you check it. Okay, you give it a tick for all the days. So if you are having any such problems related to Agni, you give a tick and see how many of it is coming. How many ticks you are getting from this line. Okay, similar to the poster, we have given different categories. You just have to tick whatever category you fall into. Okay, so this is very, very important. Now we start with the self analysis part, which is again very, very important. I will tell you when to do what. For now, I am telling you to just do the first 3 pages. Okay, so the first 3 pages you should do and share it with me in the group tomorrow. So everybody just share in the group whatever your results comes off that page. You can take a picture and send it to me. Okay. So it is so your answers will come to me from tomorrow to tomorrow night. So you will share me the whole journey which you had to yesterday, tomorrow night, or you can also do it until tomorrow, day after tomorrow morning. The deadline will be always the day after morning. Okay. So you get the whole day and the night to send the answers. Once the deadline finishes, don't send that page to me. Then we have, there is a point scale. If you see the next page where we have given 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is everybody able to come on that page? Right? So 0 is never or almost never have these symptoms. So suppose in the digestive tract column, you have nausea and you never had nausea in your life. So write 0. If you have it occasionally and it is not severe, sometimes or the other you get just nausea, you write 1. If it is occasional and it affects you severely, sometimes it is occasional, but it is so severe that it disturbs you, right? 2. If it is frequent and it is not severe, so a lot of people get nausea frequently, but it is not severe. It's fine. It's not so something which they have to be worried about. But they have nausea always. They always complain. There is 3 point for that. Okay. 4 is frequently and severe. So you write your score there. Okay. Clear? Like that. This you have to solve when I tell you to solve, not today or not tomorrow. Okay, this we have to solve on the 3rd day. First, first 2 pages, the first 3 pages will be very, very important. Focus on that. Okay. Focus on those pages. Very, very important. All right. If there is any questions, anything related to these pages, let us know. There are different categories. There is head, joints, lungs, eyes, emotions, ear, mouth, skin, nose, weight, everything. So you have to write down the scale according to that. In the end, there is a total score. So if your score is less than 10, you are optimal. Everything is fine with you. You don't have to worry about anything. 10 to 50 is mild. Moderate is 50 to 100. More than 100 is severe. Okay. So this you need to be solving very, very properly. Try to solve it. And then we will have. And if you want to make any notes in the workbook, you make it in the last pages. Okay, clear everyone? Any doubt, any questions? Okay, if you have any questions, please write down in the chat box so we can take. So we'll end the session today. I hope everybody understood what we have to do in the coming days. Right? Okay. So are you excited for the workshop which is going to come and for the coming days? Make sure that your shopping list is completed by tomorrow. I hope everybody in India and outside can arrange castor oil. If you can't arrange Triphala, it's fine. Castor oil, edible castor oil can be arranged, right? Because we will require it from the 3rd day. Okay. Good. So have a very nice evening and good night.
Sir, can we get?
Okay. Hi. I think somebody was asking something, Praveen ji. Okay, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I will be in travel at this time.
Yeah.
So can I get a recording of this tomorrow session?
Sure. Okay. So the people who will not. So firstly, I will request everybody to attend the sessions live, because there will be a lot of things which we are going to bring as a surprise for you. So stay alive. But sometimes if you are not able to have it or not able to come, then definitely we have recordings for you, so you can have it. But the point of this whole workshop is to come live, so you can talk, interact, identify your problems and work with it. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay, sir.
just in case if you are not able to, we will provide you the recordings.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe I will be in the travel.
Sure. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice
Okay.
day. See
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Have a nice day.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye bye. Namaste.